Hi guys, so this week we are setting out on a super exciting adventure thanks to the people at Brancott Estate who are encouraging us to find our very exciting first experience in our new hometown of Los Angeles. So we do have something we've come up with which we think is pretty exciting, and that video will be coming up on Thursday. But right now and today we're going to talk about some of our favourite first experiences. Those times where we've had nerves, a little bit of excitement. Sophie's a little bit nervous right now, as you can tell. But we're going to talk through our favourite moments that we've had first experiences with. So let's have some questions, please. I don't think we actually technically had. I don't think we technically had a first date. We kind of just like steamrolled into a relationship. I mean, what was our first date?
I think instead of a first date, you could do when you arrived to Gothenburg the first time.
Oh yeah. So when we first started dating, we met like over in an Irish pub, and then I moved like about a few weeks after. I moved over to Sweden to hang out with Sophie. So I mean, what? Yeah.
I remember picking Donal up from the airport and being super nervous, going, "What the heck are we doing here?"
It was definitely nerve-wracking because I think like both of us were caught up in the romance of like a new relationship, but then when you were sitting on a plane going, "Oh my god, I'm going to another country to be with a girl I only know for the last 3 weeks," so that was definitely, I think, nerves on both sides. And I remember when we got into the car for the first time going, "Oh, you look like that." Because no, not like that, but just the moment of like, oh, okay, because we'd only literally just met. So I think there was definite nerves and excitement around then, but yeah, it was pretty cool though. And look, the rest is history. So here we are.
It worked out.
It worked out. So our first romantic meal that we cooked for each other was actually on camera. We were doing my, do you not remember this? Like, it was my first ever TV show, and we had the topic of conversation, or the topic of the episode, was romance, or cooking for romance. And so Sophie's romantic meal that was cooked for her was like with all these camera people and all these sound people, like, you know, listening in.
Donal cooked, and I had to go and buy myself some flowers so Donal could give them to me on camera.
Yeah, so I'm all about the romance, as you can tell, but it has improved since then. That was probably one of like the first romantic meals I ever cooked properly for you, but
yeah, it wasn't that romantic though.
No, and actually when they were setting up like the table setting, Sophie had to be in shot with this camera guy to set up the angles. So I remember looking over, and Sophie was there with a candlelit table with Billy, our lovely cameraman, who was having a romantic date with my to be my wife. So yeah, it was not exactly the perfect romantic meal, and I think I've improved on it since.
We have to do another one, a real one.
A proper one, exactly. One of the biggest TV roles I've ever had was hosting Saturday Kitchen on BBC, which is kind of like the Chew in the United States.
Right.
And I would say it was one of the most nervous moments I've ever had, because there's like 3 million people watching. You are live for an hour and a half. You have to interview chefs, like top chefs. You have to interview a celebrity guest, and you have to cook on screen. So it was
and read the auto cue.
So there's a lot to take in, and I think, you know, there's different parts of your career where you get a little bit nervous and a little bit excited, but like all of a sudden, all the work I've done up until that point, I just got all the nerves back again. And I think you were pretty nervous too.
I couldn't hold it together. Donal was, you go over the day before and you do a run through. And I was doing my best to like go, "Oh, this is so exciting," and I could tell Donal had a few moments of like going, "What's going on?" But then when it was like 10 minutes left to actually going live, I had to go, and like they said, "Do you want to sit in the studio?" I was like, I cannot see Donal doing this. I have to go somewhere else. So I sat in the green room watching it, and on the show you get to try wines. And they kept sending me glasses of wine, so I had a great time at the end of it.
So basically, by the end of the show, I was no longer a nervous wreck, but Sophie was sloshed in the green room. So no, I don't think you were that bad, but it was great to kind of just calm the nerves a little bit. But I think, you know, like that's a perfect example of a first experience that I think it's so good to like throw yourself in at the deep end. And there's so much I've learned from doing a live cooking show to, you know, doing these sorts of YouTube videos. You know, I think it gives you a rounded experience of your job. So I think you've always got to try new challenges.
I think the other cool thing about this is that, like, I very rarely do I work on organizing it, I work on getting you there, getting the recipe sorted, and then I can't actually do anything when it comes down to it, and that's where like you have all these nerves for you, or like you're nervous for something, but you can't control it in any way. You can't go and just take over if, like, say you didn't want to do it or whatever. So it's this, you get nervous for like another reason, and that's a weird feeling to have to deal with sometimes.
But it's good. Like, I think you have to have nerves, otherwise new and great, exciting things don't happen. So I think it's a good thing. I think the first thing I ever cooked was pancakes. I love pancakes, and every Pancake Tuesday every year we make pancakes in my house, and it's a family tradition, it's an Irish tradition, and one of the first things I ever learned to do was pancakes. You make up a very simple batter, you get to flip it. That was the most exciting thing as a kid, you get to flip the pancake.
Right.
Did they have pancakes in Sweden?
I didn't like pancakes as a kid.
Oh.
That's a new revelation.
Oh, really? Yeah, I actually remember that. When we first started dating, she would never eat pancakes, and I was like, you really not like pancakes? But you've come around, you quite like them now. What was the first thing you cooked?
I remember helping my granny making meatballs. That's the first thing, of course.
Sophie's Swedish, so Swedish meatballs, you can't go wrong.
And I remember thinking that it was tastier eating the peppery meat mix than it was
Raw
eating,
peppery meat mix?
Yeah, than actually eating.
What?
And my granny used to say, Sophie, you can't do that, you can't do that. I used to love just.
Sorry, can we just stop for a moment? Are you telling me that you used to eat raw minced meat?
Yeah, it's like.
And she's still here today, folks. Who knew? Who knew?
What's that fancy dish called?
Steak tartare.
Yeah, you do eat
But it's
raw.
not like minced processed meat, it's like chopped meat and, okay.
Whatever.
We need to talk off camera, because I can't believe she's still here. She probably has parasites living in. It'll be fine, it'll be fine.
Should we do it?
No, that's fine. That's a first experience if I ever heard one. I actually can't remember the first time I came to LA. I actually came without you the first time. I came with my friend James, and we stayed in this really weird hotel, but it had a pool on the roof. I remember that, and I just was bowled over by the fact that it was constantly sunny. You had all the palm trees. It looked exactly like it was on TV.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think living here is slightly different because you're in your own little kind of LA bubble. But when was the first time you came out?
I came over with you and James.
Okay.
And Michael Jackson had just died, so
Ah.
it was, that's why I remember it.
And you know why I remember that one is because I used to be in a pop band, and we had just gone #1 with our first single.
Yeah.
And Michael Jackson died, and then of course like every chart was taken over by Michael Jackson's music, so we kind of like went into hiding in Los Angeles because our single kind of dropped out of the charts pretty quickly after that. But that was a great experience.
Yeah, I just remember it being so, like you said, so similar to what you see in movies and stuff.
Yeah.
So it didn't feel like you had, like, you're on the plane for like 14 hours, but when you got here, it still felt kind of.
I think it's very much like what you see on TV and in movies, but like I think that first time we did all the proper tourist sites, and we did the Walk of Fame, and we went to the Hollywood sign, and we went to Santa Monica and saw the beach. So like at one point I was even in little red shorts, and I was running down the beach because I was channeling my inner David Hasselhoff, singing the Baywatch theme tune. Sophie was at this point like hiding under a towel, and I was going, some people live in like she is right now. Like she is right now. Anyway, yeah, I'd say that was our first experience of Los Angeles, but coming here and living here is a whole different ballgame. I feel like that's where we were really nervous because there was so much to take in. There was a lot of like nervous energy just to pack up our house. It took us a good year to actually move out here, so it took its sweet ass time, but it's been worth it, and I now feel like we're properly settled here, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I do miss home. Do you?
I do. It feels very far. That's the one thing.
Yeah.
When you went here on holidays, it felt like, I don't know, it was fun and exciting, and when you like live here, sometimes at like 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon, you know that everyone else is asleep, and you feel really lonely.
You do. Actually, that is the weird thing. When everyone goes to bed back home, you just feel a little bit like alone. We have each other though.
Yes,
so that's pretty good. Yeah. So most people don't actually know this, but our little dog Max was a rescue dog. He was actually a foster dog for us. So essentially we are failed foster parents because he came in the door and we instantly fell in love. We were only meant to be taking care of him until they found a family for him. But he came in as a puppy. We didn't even realize he was a puppy. I think he was only 5 months old when he arrived with us.
Yeah, that's it.
So, I mean, he came in the door and he was completely dirty. He was like in a state and he was really nervous. He just got sick in the car that he'd come over. So, like, he was in a bad way when he arrived with us. And we took him in. The lady left him with us and we had no idea. We'd never had a dog together before. I grew up with 2 golden retrievers, but we had never had like a dog or a responsibility together as a couple.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the door closed and it was just us and this little dog, and it was quite emotional because like we took him in and we washed him and realized that he's this gorgeous little puppy underneath it.
And he was sitting in the shower. I remember giving him a shower, and he was just like, the hot water. Obviously, it took him a while to realize that we were like doing something nice for him, and he started relaxing, and he realized that the hot water was nice, and he started relaxing, and then he just sat with us the whole evening that night, just kind of cuddled up next to it. I remember that very strongly.
It was like the first real like love for something other than ourselves. It was one of those really sweet moments, and I think as you can tell, we are like dog obsessed, and so all that emotion when we brought him over to LA for the first time. I would say he's one of the most well-traveled dogs in the world. He's been to Sweden, he's been to Dublin, he's been to Los Angeles, into the UK. So I mean, he is a well-traveled dog, and you can tell how much love we have for Max. But yeah, he is probably one of the best first experiences I think we've ever had.
Absolutely.
Yeah, wouldn't change it. Guys, I hope you enjoyed us sharing some of our favourite first experience memories. We kind of took a little bit of a walk down memory lane. What did you think?
Yeah, we covered a lot there.
Yes, we definitely covered a lot. I hope that wasn't too much for you. But join us this week because we've organised basically one of the most epic Los Angeles experiences you could ever imagine. It's our first experience doing it, and I think we're pretty excited about it, so I hope you will be too. Tune in for that later this week. Make sure to leave us a comment letting us know what you'd like to know about the two of us, if there's any burning questions you still have after that very lengthy video. And until then, we will see you soon. Click the subscribe button, and goodbye.
Bye.